Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome to the show. What you just heard was the singing of the national anthem by a local veteran, Mr. Freddie Ingleton, who is going to join us on the show today on a series of interviews that we are going to title as the Veterans Project. And we're going to interview local veterans from our area. We're going to hear their stories and document them on this show as part of this project. So welcome to the show. This is the first of a series of interviews with local veterans, the Veterans Project. Today we have joining us Mr. Freddie Ingleton. Freddie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Terrific job on the singing of the national anthem. You have quite a bit of experience with that. First of all, I want to thank you for your service and thank you for being on the first of a series of interviews here, as we talked about earlier. So maybe we'll start off a little bit about your history. You are a veteran and you served overseas. Let's hear a little bit of how your military career started.
First of all, I'd like to say my family, my grandfather was in the U.S. Army, and my uncles was in the service as well, U.S. Army mostly, and one uncle out of many was in the Air Force. So it was a family tradition, Assemblyman Angelo Santabarbara, and my cousin joined the U.S. Army during Vietnam War. I followed behind him in 1972. I wanted to finish high school and I joined the United States Army, and I was there 10 days later.
And you did your basic training. I forget where it was now. It was basic training shortly after?
Yes, sir. I did basic training at Fort Polk, where I was trained to go to Vietnam during the Vietnam War, and I did 2 months boot camp.
And my basic training was in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and the boot camp experience is a unique one. I found that I had a chance to bond with people that I had never met before through that series. Did you experience the same?
Yes, I like the unity that veterans have, soldiers have. There's a bind. It's like we draw strength from each other.
Yeah.
And I feel that I needed to experience that. I still feel that today. This is very interesting. Now, you just said you was at Fort Leonard Wood.
Yes.
And guess what? I was stationed there after boot camp for 2 months.
And and so we both kind of have a similar experience on that base, seeing some of the same things probably.
Yes.
You were shipped overseas. You were in Germany.
That's correct.
Now, were any of the people that you trained with, did they go with you, or were you all separated into different units?
I believe several of us received orders from Washington, D.C. to report to Germany, Stuttgart. Stayed at Stuttgart at first, that was my orders, and then from there I was sent to Nuremberg. That's where I was stationed.
Okay.
In Field Artillery Unit.
And some of your, how long were you stationed overseas? How long were you there for?
I stayed in Nuremberg, West Germany, for one tour, which is equal to 18 months. And yes, 18 months.
And during your time there, and that must have been quite a change, just going to basic training and then getting shipped off, and you're in a different country now. What are some of the experiences that you're able to talk about while you were overseas?
My experience is I was 18 years old, and I had a chance to interact with many soldiers in various other units as well. I felt I was one of the youngest, and I had a chance to work and be trained by the elders, like the sergeants and the commanders. And my experiences was security first. Security, I was very good with security. They trained me very well. So well, in fact, that I did security as a deputy on the front base. I enjoyed traveling, and though it was very cold in Germany, I've learned to take care of myself as an individual and a soldier. And some other experiences I had was how to handle cold weather, live in cold weather, survive in cold weather, secure where we're at, where we're stationed in the perimeter, guard duty, and doing my job.
And I think that goes along with the military experience. You do learn how to take care of yourself and survive in situations. And I found that, I found myself doing things differently once I had gone through basic training. Even after, even beyond that, I found myself eating differently. I found myself just on a different schedule. Now going overseas, I know that does change you mentally as well. Now going overseas, what was it like? How did that change you as a person?
Going overseas. Well, first, if I could go back to the boot camp.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, they was more focused on us New Yorkers, because they said we was harder to train. And the guys from Chicago and Detroit, they put us all in the same unit. And they gave us the strongest drill sergeant. So he had us doing a lot more than the other platoons. And I came out very strong and confident and sharp. And when I went to overseas, it was more like doing my job. I was a field wireman in the Signal Corps, communications, and not as much, vigorous training, sir, like the boot camp. But I had to learn how to adapt to the cold weather. And it was not as intense with the physical training overseas.
Right. And then
it was more focused on doing my job.
And the training kind of prepares you in a way and then actually the hands-on actual work was slightly different. But the working together, the teamwork, the bonding, and then finding yourself with some new people now in Germany, that kind of happens all over again. Is that what you experienced?
That's correct, Assemblyman. You said it perfectly. Feeling like you're meeting other soldiers and adjusting.
And
Yes,
since then, since your tour in Germany, you came back. Now you live in the city of Albany.
yes, sir.
And is that where you were after you came back?
I was born in St. Louis, Missouri,
Okay.
Assemblyman, and 3 years later, I was raised in New York City, 1957. I was born in 1954,
Yep.
raised in New York City, 1957, across the street from Channel 5.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed New York City life back then. And 1969, we moved to Queens, New York, Hollis, Queens. And then I moved upstate later on, Peekskill, and then Albany.
And where I met you at the VA hospital, which is where you are now, and you're helping other veterans with your services there. Do you find that a good fit now, having served and having traveled, that you're at the Albany VA hospital?
Yes, it's a good fit for me. I'm a volunteer at the Veterans Hospital, and so I'm at the point now, Assemblyman, where I do service to veterans, and I feel comfortable and feel like I'm in the right place. Sometimes I feel like a veteran to a veteran, or all veterans, it's like we're different, and I could connect with you guys. Like, I feel comfortable with you being a veteran, and just wanted to share that.
And I found myself in preparation for this series, going through some old photos and thinking back of all the people that I had met during my basic training, and there was a few of them that I still kept in touch with for a while. Are there still people that you have served with that you are able to keep in touch with? And I know things were different then. It's not like today with internet and email and Facebook, but were you still able to keep in touch with some of your colleagues?
No, I wish I could have, now that you mentioned it.
And that's been an ongoing concern, that people would love to get reunited with people that they served with, and maybe at some day we can find a way to do that. But I hear similar stories as well. But and looking through old pictures and photographs, I do remember, and the memories come back, having served with people from all over the country. And it really is a unique experience, and just as you described your experience as well. And I had a chance to meet you during Christmas in July, the Christmas in July event at the VA hospital, and that's how we connected, meeting, helping other veterans as well, participating with groups like AMVETS. Do you find that your experience in helping other veterans is also as rewarding as it was, years ago, serving in the military? Now this is sort of a second phase on helping others.
I like how you said that, helping others. And when I had joined the service, Assemblyman, I was 18 years old. Now I'm 59. And it's different, my outlook now. I see the importance of veterans connected with each other. It's important. It makes me feel like I'm in the right place, And I'm always at the VA for some reason.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I belong there to do service and to and that's where I get taken care of too. I get excellent services there.
And it truly is an important service for our veterans to be able to have the VA hospital nearby. And we certainly appreciate you spending your time and giving your time to help other veterans. And we're there on several occasions. And sometimes the veterans that are there, they don't really see too many other people, and it's nice to stop in and say hello. And I know that you do that. And it is important for veterans to help other veterans, even though you're not serving anymore. We all have similar experiences, and we're all trying to work towards the same goal as well. So I want to thank you for your service again. We are going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk more with Freddie Ingleton and his experiences overseas, and also something a little more, something unique that started off your singing career as well. More when we return. Welcome back to the show. We have been talking with a local veteran, Mr. Freddie Ingleton, who opened the show with the singing of the national anthem. He has a terrific voice, as everybody heard when we opened the show. Freddie, tell us, how did you harness this talent? You did a terrific job singing the national anthem. You've been involved in vocal arts. Tell us how that happened and how that came to be.
Okay, in New York City Public School, that's how it all started. And I sang the Star Spangled Banner in school. The principal actually had every student sing that song from each grade, and I was selected to sing for the school, the national anthem. And here it is, I'm singing it for you today and the rest of the country.
You did a terrific job, and you do have a phenomenal voice, and very appropriate, being a veteran, to sing that for the opening of this show. You also performed with some musical groups and other talent as well. Tell us a little bit about your history with that as well.
Okay, well, I like to say when I was 9 years old, 1963, Motown music was very strong and popular. And my mother played the Motown songs. I used to go to the Apollo Theater and look on at the shows. That's where I saw the Delphonics. And so many years later, I wind up singing with them. And
we saw the photos before the show. You had some photos that you had taken.
Yes. I was happy to hear from the founder and original lead singer and owner of the Delphonics that I was the fastest one to come along and the only one in history from New York. And I learned how to sing harmony. I always was a lead singer, but William Hart taught me that, Freddie, once you learn how to sing harmony, you become a much better singer. And I thank him very much. And I thank God mostly. And, you know, I enjoy singing. People encourage me to sing for some reason.
Well, and I'm sure it has to do with it's a terrific voice, fitting for a singing voice. Did you find during your military service people were asking you to sing there as well?
I used to sing, play the records in the barracks.
Okay.
Because that was an outlet.
Yeah.
They played the different songs, and I would just sing along with them. when they played the records, you know, back then.
I found that during boot camp, you know, we were looking for any entertainment. It was very scarce during training. There's not much entertainment going on, but once in a while, people would start singing in the hallways, and everybody would kind of join in, and you know, a little bit of entertainment in the evening. So I'm certain that your fellow trainees appreciated the singing as it was happening during their time in the barracks as well.
Yes, sir.
And going back, so you were able to sing with the Delphonics.
And Blue Magic.
Okay.
I started singing with them later, as well as doing solo. I'd like to mention, Mr. Assemblyman, that Schenectady has been very supportive to me. I've sang at their college a few times for Black History Month.
Okay.
And I received a couple of awards. One being a musical scholarship program for students, which exists off of donations. And I'm very happy to have received that award for college students. So far, there's been 2 recipients.
That's fantastic. Congratulations on that. And you kind of travel throughout the area in the Capital District, and you know, you sing in Schenectady, Albany. You're serving in the VA hospital. You're getting around and being involved with the community, which is very good. And I appreciate all your efforts on that.
I like to say as well, Mr. Assemblyman, I am the Star Spangled Banner Man. Somehow it turned out that way. I believe I've sang at a half a dozen events for the Veterans Affairs. In fact, I'll be singing this Saturday at the car show.
Oh, great.
National Anthem and so forth.
Yeah, we'll have to catch that. Well, if you do a spectacular job at it.
Thank you.
Let's jump back to your service overseas. One of the things I wanted to talk about on this show was when you did one tour in Germany, which you said was 18 months.
Right.
Now, spending the time in Germany, 18 months, now
Right.
you come back home.
Right.
I hear a lot about this, readjusting when you come back home. What was your experience like going overseas, spending your time there? Now you have to readjust when you come back here.
It was a big adjustment for me, and I felt out of place, and for a long time. And after a little while, after unemployment, I went to school, and later on they had a veterans program called MOVE or MOVA, Mayor's Office of Veterans Affairs,
Mm-hmm.
and they had another program called CETA, which was federally funded for veterans. And I believe you could work 18 months, and then after that cycle, another veteran comes in for 18 months. And that's what happened for me. I felt that it wasn't easy at first coming home, fitting in.
Yeah.
And I think people needed to adjust with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's an issue that's been ongoing, trying to do more for our returning veterans and trying to make that adjustment as seamless as possible or as comfortable as possible. And I hear similar stories from other veterans as well, that when they return home, there's a period of, both mentally and, things that have changed in their communities as well.
Right.
And it seems like your experience was very similar. Were there any particular events or any particular experiences that you wanted to talk about that happened overseas while you were in Germany?
Well, I did security on the front gate, so that was a challenge. I was very good You know what I mean? So people wanted to try to come in. I was trained so well that, you know, I had to tell them, I'm sorry, you can't come here. We have rules we have to follow. That's basically what it was.
And
Outsiders trying to come in.
And what's unique about the military experience is that every part of it, every piece, the security and the other responsibilities, everybody relies on the rest of the unit, the rest of the team doing their particular job, particular duty, and doing it well. Freddie, we want to thank you for being on the show. Thank you for your service again, and thank you for doing a spectacular job of opening the show with the singing of the national anthem. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you for joining us on what is the first of a series of interviews with local veterans, going to be called the Veterans Project. Join us again where we continue to interview local veterans in our area where they talk about their experiences and what it was like serving our country. Thank you. If you are a local veteran or know of a veteran that would like to be part of the show, please call me at 518-355-1022 or by email at asantabarbara001@nycap.rr.com.